Thank you. And at this time, we'll have Lorraine Quintero, who's a student at Central Falls High School, sing the national anthem.
My God. Reason.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right. Hey. Alert. Hello. Hello. Right. Hello. 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 Right. Hello. 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 Right. Hello. Hello.
Thank you, and welcome all to the opening and grand dedication of this beautiful brand new park. To veterans who have served from Central Falls, this is now your new park. At this time, I'd like to call on Father Burns to give the convocation.
I think the mayor just wants to verify that miracles still happen. Yesterday, this corner was like a desert. I always thought that it took a few years for trees to grow and grass to get green, but day before yesterday, it was a desert. Today, it's a beautiful park. So one more miracle. And so we thank the Lord for having given us life today on this beautiful planet, this wonderful city. Beauty is all around us. As we gather together, we realize that what we see day by day by day is beautiful. The Lord has called us to life in its fullness. We ask you, Lord, that this park, this little corner of nature, this corner of quiet and of peace, might help men and women in Central Falls to have a moment where they might see that God wants them to have life in its fullness. And so whether senior citizens from next door, or children playing, or any of its citizens roaming through this beautiful corner, they might be able to see the goodness of God here and in one another. Make this a holy place, we pray. We pray in the name of Jesus, who has given to veterans that spirit of dedication so they might offer their lives in order that others might have life in its fullness. We thank the Lord Jesus, who lives forever and ever.
Thank you, Father. Now you may all be seated. I want want to take the opportunity to recognize a few of the dignitaries that we have here today. Congressman David Cicilline, Council President Bob Ferry, Councilman Hugo Figueroa, Councilwoman Fonseca, Councilman Solano, Councilman Lozea, Senator Elizabeth Crowley, Representative Maldonado, Mayor Lombardi, the Council President of the Town of Lincoln is here, United States Attorney General Peter Norona as well, Judge Sawyer, and more importantly, the veterans who are here with us today. I'd like to call on the Council President to say a few words.
First of all, as Shakespeare said, I'm not here to dismiss you, Mayor. I'm here to praise you. I want to praise the Mayor for thinking ahead, thought to the future, certainly thinking of the present, and today we're remembering the past. So going forward, we have actually bridged the gap between the present, the future, and the past. And I want to thank you. Today we dedicate this beautiful park, beautiful area, and it just is that. We want to recognize and thank all our veterans who served with honor in the armed forces of this great nation called America. Let us never forget those veterans who served in peacetime, those who served in conflict, those who returned home safely, or those wounded during such conflicts. And certainly let us never, ever, ever forget those who made the ultimate sacrifice for, once again, this great nation. Let us keep in our thoughts those who were or still remain a prisoner of war or missing in action. Further, let's recognize the many who presently serve and those who will serve with honor in the future to defend and keep America free. With Thanksgiving and Christmas on the horizon, let us keep in mind all those who are serving now and are away from their loved ones, so that we may enjoy these wonderful holidays in the comfort of our homes and in peace. May God bless everyone here today. May God always bestow his blessing on our veterans, and certainly may he bestow our blessings on America. Thank you, veterans. Enjoy the rest of the day, and again, God bless you all. Thank you.
I really want to thank the Council President and all the members of the City Council for being very supportive of this initiative. Another friend and colleague and also supporter of this great initiative is Congressman David Cicilline.
Good morning. I am really delighted to be here. First, to say thank you to the mayor for his vision and his tenacity in making this park a reality. Thank you to the members of the City Council, President Ferry, and the other members for your support of this, and to be with all of my colleagues, but mostly to be with our great veterans on this incredibly important day. We set aside Veterans Day as a nation to pause, to stop, and formally recognize the incredible sacrifices that our veterans and their families have made in service to our country. And although we do it on one day, the reality is we benefit from the sacrifice and heroism and courage of the men and women who serve in our armed forces every single day that we live in this great country. because we get up and we enjoy extraordinary freedoms and great prosperity, all secured by the men and women who serve in very faraway places and have served in very faraway places in very dangerous conditions to keep us free and to protect our country. One of the privileges of my job is I have the opportunity both to nominate people to the Service Academy, so to see the young people who are going to serve in our armed forces that are just spectacular young people, but also I have the privilege of visiting our troops in some very dangerous places around the world. And what always inspires me, these men and women who are in very distant places, in very dangerous places, serving to protect the national security interests of the United States. And it's something we should never take for granted, that we should always be mindful of. And so on this Veterans Day, I say to the veterans who are with us today, some who served in the Second World War, Korean War, Vietnam, thank you for your incredible service to our country. We can never fully repay our debt to you, but I'm proud to be part of a delegation that understands we have a solemn responsibility to do everything we can to provide for our veterans. That means housing assistance, employment assistance, healthcare, mental health services, all the things that our veterans need both to reintegrate into civilian life and to live their retirement years with dignity. And I consider it a tremendous honor to have the privilege of standing up and being a voice in Washington to our veterans. Thank you for the difference you've made to our country. Thank you for the difference you've made to the world. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Congressman. And I'd like to call up the council member who represent this ward, and that is Councilman Franklin Solano.
Thank you very much, Mayor Diosa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to be here today sharing the inauguration of this park with all of you. Under the administration of Mayor Diosa, many wonderful and beneficial things have transformed our great city of Central Falls, raising our bankruptcy, paving new roads toward our future, new business venues, strengthening the old ones, the recent inauguration of the former Lincoln Ormond Park, and the reason we are here today, the inauguration of the Veteran Memorial Park. Today is special for many reasons. This inauguration recognizes and salutes all who have served and the brave men and women serving today, who have and continue to protect our freedoms to ensure this great country we share remain free and continue to provide opportunity for those who seek in the American dream. I say to this special for many reasons. For me, today, I am able to publicly recognize my son, U.S. Army Ranger Captain Franklin Solano Jr., who's currently serving. Words cannot fully express how happy I am for his commitment and achievement and how very proud of him his family is. May this park forever honor those who serve and be a place of serenity for all. God bless them and God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman Solano. I also like to call up a huge supporter of this initiative, Senator Elizabeth Crowley.
A little over a year ago, we came and said we're going to dedicate a park and we're going to call it Veterans Park. And look at this place, isn't it beautiful? You have to commend the mayor. Thank you, Mayor, for seeing ahead of time, for seeing what we can do at Little Central Falls. But Little Central Falls produced a lot of veterans. And we're here to commemorate not only those that gave their life for the city, for their state, for their country, but all those who are still living. And I'd like to recognize one, and I don't normally pick out everybody and things like that or name names, but in a special place in my heart, a person I know very well, a survivor of D-Day, sitting right here in the cold with us all, age 94, Mr. Leo Hero. And he's a Legion of Honor recipient from the country of France. And he just told me just a few minutes ago, he can tell you all what happened 73 years ago. So, and I'm sure it wasn't pleasant, but it's people like him, his dedication. Mr. Norman Thiebaud, an old friend of mine as well. They've given so much, so much. They are the greatest generation. They always will be the greatest generation. And just think about the turmoil this country was in the 40s. I mean, we think we're in bad shape now, but we have to think the whole world was in conflict. And our soldiers and our American men and women got out there and they kept this country free. And we have been so lucky that we have not had, with the exception of 9/11, any major war on this continent. We've kept it away from us, and it's because of the sacrifice of our veterans. So thank you, wherever you are, who's ever serving, we thank you very much. And thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to have a few words.
Thank you, Senator Crowley. I'd like to call up another huge supporter of this initiative, and that's State Representative Shelby Maldonado.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, on this warm morning. I just want to take a moment, a few words, just to thank our men and women who have served for our country, who continue to serve today, and for the veterans that are here, thank you. I remember a few years ago, well, I shouldn't say few, I'm aging, but when I was younger, I remember watching my older brother serve in the U.S. Marines and how difficult it was to watch him leave and watch my mother pray every night hoping that he would come home the same way he left. And he did, and we're grateful for that. I want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank the mayor and his staff that were able to push through this project, and we look forward to serving the city of Central Falls. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Maldonado. I'd like to call on a member of the Central Falls High School class of 1966, and that's Bob Nula, to say a few words.
Good morning, Central Falls. My name's Bob Nula. I'm from the class of 1966. I'm representing our president, Stan Sower, who's ill and couldn't make it today, but Mayor Diosa, elected officials, members of the administration, veterans, citizens of Central Falls, we thank you. After our 50th year reunion last year, Stan came up with the idea to have a plaque to honor the veterans from our class. And when Stan gets an idea, he's like a pit bull. So he started calling the mayor's office for Josh and Wilder in public relations, and he was relentless. And he had this simple idea. We're gonna have just a little plaque, we'll put it on a stone, maybe we'll get permission to put it in Jinx Park. And then he got back to us and he said, wow, he said, the city of Central Falls is gonna build a veterans park and let us display our plaque here. So we're so grateful. Those of us in the class, Stan's a 20-year Air Force veteran. I'm a veteran myself. Just think, when we were younger, many years ago, we left these neighborhoods to answer the call of our country and serve. And fortunately, most of us came back, all but one, Joseph Mashasik, who was killed in action in the Vietnam War. But we honor him, we honor all the veterans today, and we are so grateful for the city and the mayor and the administration and everybody who, against all kinds of odds, built this beautiful park, and we thank you very much. God bless you.
So, Bob, if you have any classmates, I'd love for you to join Bob and unveil the plaque with the names of members of the class of 1966 who served.
Don't be shy. You weren't
Don't
shy
be
at the
shy.
reunion. Now's your chance.
And we'll help you with a countdown. All right, if you can all join me counting down from 3. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much, class of 1966. We are not only proud of calling you fellow warriors, but also for serving our country in such an honorable way, and more importantly, never forgetting where you came from, and that is our great square mile, Central Falls. Thank you again. And I'd like to call on a veteran who served in the Marine Corps and is a great class act and who's really turned around the police department. And that is our Central Falls Police Colonel, James Mendonça, who will introduce our keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'll just give a minute for everybody to get back to their seats. Words cannot express how important today is to me. First, as a son of Central Falls, born and raised here, and as a veteran myself, 22 years combined, both active and reserve, with the Marine Corps and with the Air National Guard.
Outstanding.
I'm so pleased that the city, and led by the mayor, was able to repurpose this land. As far as I was concerned, it was hallowed ground. That VFW post that sat behind us, the LaFay post, there are many members of my family that used that as a haven. My father, uncles served in World War II in the Korean War, and my grandfather, who served in World War I. My mother used to tell me stories when she was young. She lived on Valley Street. She was about 6 years old, and her mother used to send her to the VFW post to drag my grandfather home. It really gives me great pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker, someone I've known for at least 25 years now and have a great amount of admiration for. So I will read his bio for you before I introduce him. Brigadier General Arthur Fleury is the Director, Joint Staff for the Joint Force Headquarters, Rhode Island National Guard, Cranston, Rhode Island. He is the Principal Advisor to the Adjutant General of Rhode Island for all Army and Air National Guard issues, and is responsible for assisting in the planning, directing, and administration of nearly 3,200 soldiers and airmen. General Fleury is a 1985 graduate of the University of Rhode Island. He received his commission through the Air National Guard Academy of Military Science in Knoxville, Tennessee in 1989. Upon completion of undergraduate pilot training at Vance Air Force Base, Oklahoma in 1990, he was assigned to fly C-130s at Quonset Point, Rhode Island as a member of the 143rd Airlift Wing, Rhode Island Air National Guard. He served as a C-130 aircraft commander, instructor pilot, and evaluator pilot. During his assignment with the 143rd Airlift Wing, he compiled over 5,000 flying hours, including more than 550 combat hours in the C-130E and J model aircraft. General Fleury had the distinct honor of commanding at the squadron, group, and wing level. He is a veteran of Operations Desert Shield, Desert Storm, provide comfort in northern Iraq and Turkey, provide relief in Somalia, in missions in Bosnia, Iraq, freedom, and enduring freedom. In 2010, he served as commander of the 774th Expeditionary Airlift Squadron, Afghanistan, where he led the largest airlift squadron in theater. From 2012 to 2015, he was a commander of the 143rd Airlift Wing, responsible for over 1,000 military and civilian personnel. In addition to his primary mission, the wing has trained more than 400 international students on the C-130J from 8 partner nations, including Iraq, India, and Israel. Most recently, he served as Director of Staff for for the Rhode Island Air National Guard. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the keynote speaker, Brigadier General Arthur Thoreau.
Good morning, everyone. And I think someone already mentioned what a great day it was in Central Falls, but this is better than a great day. This is an incredibly great day in Central Falls. And really a huge, huge honor for me to stand before you today. Before we get started, just a brief moment, if we may, to send all of our thoughts and prayers to all of our deployed troops around the globe, carrying the torch of freedom for us, that allow us to have beautiful ceremonies like this throughout our sacred land today. And what an honor to be in Central Falls. I can't believe it. And I have to tell you, I drive by this area routinely, and I did not know this was here. And my little girl, now 12 years old, likes to attend functions with me with Congressman Cicilline, and she couldn't be here today, but when she completes her task for the day, we'll come back here to look at this facility, because this is really a tribute to your community. I know there are many people responsible for this, and wherever you are, present or not present, congratulations to all of you, Mayor. This is something to behold. What a model for America. We get to do these things routinely in my capacity, but for a small town like Central Falls, small city like Central Falls, in the small state of Rhode Island, I often brag to Congressman Cicilline, we're the smallest state, but we carry a powerful, mean punch. And boy, Central Falls is the model for that today. So, while we often start with a reference to our distinguished guests today, our distinguished guests are all the veterans in the crowd. And Mr. Thibault, Mr. Hero, what an honor it is for me to stand before you. I think you know, I do wear the stars, but these stars do not belong to me. They belong to our team. And I'm just the fortunate one that gets to wear them for a little while as we get the next generation of leaders ready to take over. But it is an absolute honor for me to stand before you. Congratulations. If I'm not your biggest fan, I'm one of your biggest fans for all you did to save the world. No kidding. That is the greatest generation by far, and nothing will ever parallel that. I would also take a moment to tell you that I have had the honor to serve with Central Falls sons and daughters, currently serving. And you're on the right path. And whatever you're doing to prepare your youth to take on the community service and to join our ranks in the armed services, continue to do that, please, because they're doing very well. And several of them now are in the chain to take the torch from us as the evolution of our military continues to grow. Central Falls carries, again, a big punch with a big heart, and I think you do more than your fair share to keep America's national interest at the top of the class. So thank you for doing that. More than 2 centuries now, fine men and women have always answered the call. You cannot find a time in America's history, from the Minutemen up in Boston to today with our warriors, controlling drones in contested airspace around the world. There's never been a time when we haven't answered the call. All we can do is say thank you. It's impossible to repay the debt to our veterans. It's impossible. The only thing we can do to begin to scratch the surface is to say thank you. And the effort that went into this hallowed sacred ground today is a big way of saying thank you. There aren't many people that join the military that raise their right hand and agree to put it all on the line for this nation, that think while they're taking the oath of things like this. But as they grow and as they do the nation's business around the world, more important than ever, these memorials matter. They really matter. And it's the smallest, easiest thing we can do. And again, Central Falls has managed to do this in grand fashion. When I drove up this morning and saw this place, I was, no kidding, overwhelmed. And I had prepared words, and I thought, there's no way I can speak to you from a prepared statement. This has to come from my heart because it's very clear that everyone's heart and soul went into this memorial today. And the other thing, well, 2 points I'd like to make note of, and this is all in the interest of full disclosure. Now, Chief Mondanka did mention that I was the keynote speaker, and the invitation did come from the chief. But I think if you know your chief, the invitation sounded something like this: "You will be there today to be the keynote speaker." And I just responded, "Yes, sir, I will be there," and it is my honor. And the other part, and I think Congressman Cicilline can back me up on this part as well. When we do these ceremonies, it's rare when we run into a nuclear-powered mayor of this age that's actually eligible to take the oath and join our ranks today. So perhaps we could get the next ceremony started right after this and swear in our mayor. And of course, I would recommend the Air Force to him, but we do have some other branches. So on the 11th hour, the ceremony, by the way, is, if you didn't know, approaching a century. In 1919, the first celebration of the armistice, when after years of unimaginable destruction, the battlefields of Europe fell silent. And it was determined back then that on the 11th hour of the 11th month and the 11th day that we would recognize veterans. And Calvin Coolidge's quote that a nation that forgets its veterans will soon be forgotten itself. And America's done a great job, but in particular, Central Falls has no concern with forgetting its veterans after this display I'm witnessing today with all of the people that have come out. And while it's a bit chilly here, I think the sentiment we all feel for this sacred day warms us incredibly. Whether it's Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Air Force, and we have these inter-service rivalries and positive, healthy competition, it's all for the common good. And when bad things start to happen in combat and in battle, we really don't care what the color of our colleagues' uniform is, or whether they're man or woman, or what their race is. It's about the common good, it's about the team, and we take care of the team, and the common good is the welfare and the safety and the security of America. And I think we're delivering that, and I think, thank you. I think we continue to bring our youth along to achieve at very high levels to keep us at the top of the class. When you think of the Minuteman with the musket, to our satellite and our cyber operations around the globe today, and controlling drones from 7, 10, 12,000 miles away. The technology is so advanced, and we have no choice but to keep our kids on a very steep learning curve to master the technology that's before us today. As early as George Washington, the quotes were used that the best way to provide peace is through a strong military and the ability to keep your nation strong. And through history, we've seen that many times over. Weakness will be exploited. And fortunate for America, we've never displayed a weakness in that area. And our military stays strong, but it's a constant effort. And we need to keep our youth engaged again, so they'll take the torch from us and continue to keep America at the top of the class. Again, impossible to say thank you. I would like to take a special moment on this Veterans Day as we recognize all of our veterans who have served, to recognize our Vietnam veterans. Because as Chief Mondanka read my bio, I have several deployments, perhaps more than 7 or 8 at this point. And I have to tell you, every time I've deployed and every time I've returned, there has always been a Vietnam veteran there to send us off with best wishes and receive us with best wishes, bar none. They are always there carrying an American flag and doing what they can do to send us off and receive us in grand fashion. So a special thank you to all of our Vietnam veterans today, because I know you didn't have that luxury as you were returning and being sent out. So while you didn't have that luxury, we will do our best to provide you, again, the basic thank you at every opportunity we can to speak, and I met several of you in the audience today. And again, thank you for being here, and thank you for your incredible dignity, your incredible respect, and your incredible show of support to everything we do every day around the globe. Thank you all very much for that. I'm going to close. Again, thank you. It is really a gigantic privilege for me to stand before you. I am deeply humbled by the presence that I'm in today with all of our veterans and all you've accomplished to keep America safe and America strong. And again, never forget our veterans, please. It's the least we can do. Congressman Cicilline mentioned healthcare and programs to continue assisting our veterans post-service. But the thank you part of it is the least we can do as a nation. In Central Falls, again, to the committee, to everyone responsible, congratulations. Our biggest bravo. You really need to be proud of yourselves for what you've accomplished here. This is an incredible show. Thank you for the opportunity. God bless our little state of Rhode Island, and God bless America always. Thank you.
Thank you. What an honor to be able to receive so many distinguished guests in our beautiful city of Central Falls. I want to say good morning to all and welcome to the dedication of this beautiful new park to veterans. For those who are currently serving and those who have lost their lives serving from here, this square mile of Central Falls. The idea behind building a new park and dedicating to veterans came from my visits to other communities around Rhode Island and noticing that a majority of the communities had a special place where they can go remember and celebrate residents who served in our armed forces. I felt that as we continue to rebuild Central Falls, this is an extremely important element and essential to our fabric. We all know residents who are serving, or who have served, or who have lost their lives for our freedoms here today. This park is for them, for you, for those looking down on us from heaven. This park will be here for many generations to understand that the freedoms we enjoy today did not happen out of coincidence. This park will add more green space to our city, have features for residents of all ages, with water features, a walking path for our seniors to enjoy, a stage for live music and theater. And I ask my colleagues on the right if you could just get up and go towards the structure on the right, and my colleagues on the left go to the structure on your left. And I ask that we unveil what I believe is two Central Falls landmarks, ones that have emotional connections to, especially one from me, my family, who came to the post and always will remember this location because of these two structures. So if you could just please take off the cloths off the cannons and give them a well-deserved round of applause, because they've been refurbished. They look great. They look beautiful. And this is an important for all of us to be able to come and share our beautiful experience here in our park. All right, on 3, 2, 1. We saved the cannons, which have been refurbished and are back where they belong, here in this park. These cannons bring back a lot of memories for members of the VFW Lafayette Post and all the residents. I must give thanks to the architect, Louis Torrada from Torrada Architects, for really capturing and realizing what I felt was important for this park. And thank Urbane Construction for making it happen. It is a gorgeous park. And I know that the people of Central Falls, and especially our veterans, will appreciate your diligence in making this all a reality. Now, there were those who felt that this investment in this park project involving a combination of major grants and city funding was too much of an investment for Central Falls. Well, I stand here today in front of all who have served or are serving or are no longer with us to say that this is a small token of gratitude from the city of Central Falls. And your courage serving and those who have served for our values and freedoms of America is priceless. God bless the city of Central Falls. God bless you all veterans. God bless America. Thank you. And if we can all rise, we will have the 3-gun salute from the Rhode Island National Guard, who will render the military honors. For the veterans, the Veterans Administration is here. To anyone who has questions about benefits or resources, they'll be here if you have any questions. This concludes our dedication of the new Veterans Memorial Park. I hope that we can all enjoy it for many years and generations to come. And again, thank you to all our veterans for sharing this beautiful moment. And for those who are overseas from Central Falls serving in our military, let's continue our prayers for them and their families. Thank you again, and God bless you all.